The research station floated quietly in the dark space between star systems. Zara looked out the big window at the stars and smiled. She felt happy and safe here. This was her home now. She touched the small flower on her desk. Marcus had brought it to her yesterday from his work trip to a new planet. The flower was blue with silver edges. It smelled like sweet rain. Marcus always brought her flowers from the worlds he visited. Each one was different and beautiful. Zara was not human. She came from a planet called Kelthar. Her people could feel what others felt inside their hearts. They called this gift empathy. When she looked at someone, she could sense if they were happy, sad, angry, or scared. It helped her work as a diplomat between different alien races. Marcus was human. He worked as an engineer who helped make planets safe for people to live on. They called this terraforming. He would go to new worlds and check the air, water, and soil. Then he would help change things to make the planet better for life. They had been married for 3 years now. Their wedding was famous across the galaxy. Many news reporters came to write about it. They said it showed that humans and aliens could love each other. It gave hope to everyone that all races could live together in peace. Zara walked to the kitchen area of their small home on the station. She started to make dinner. Marcus would be back soon from his office. He worked long hours, but he always came home to eat with her. They would sit together and talk about their day. The door opened with a soft sound. Marcus walked in with his tool bag over his shoulder. He was tall with brown hair and kind eyes. His face looked tired, but he smiled when he saw her. "Hello, beautiful," he said. He put down his bag and walked over to kiss her cheek. "How was your day?" Zara felt the warm feelings from his mind. Love, happiness, and a little tiredness. This was normal for Marcus after work. Her empathic abilities never sensed anything bad from him. He was always gentle and caring. "Good day," she said. "I finished the report about the trade talks with the Vegan colonies. What about you? Did you find anything interesting on the new planet survey?" Marcus sat down at their small table. "The soil samples look good. The atmosphere needs some work, but nothing too hard. In maybe 5 years, families could live there safely." They ate dinner together like they did every night. Marcus told her funny stories about his work partner who was always losing his tools. Zara shared news from her diplomatic meetings. Everything felt normal and peaceful. After dinner, Marcus helped wash the dishes. Then they sat together on their couch to watch the news from across the galaxy. Zara put her head on his shoulder. She felt his calm, steady heartbeat. "Marcus," she said softly, "do you ever miss Earth? Your home planet?" He was quiet for a moment. "Sometimes," he said, "but this is my home now. Here with you." She looked up at his face. His eyes seemed far away for just a second. Then he smiled down at her. Her empathic senses felt only love and truth from him. "I love you," she whispered. "I love you too," he said back. The next morning, Marcus got ready for another work trip. He would be gone for 5 days this time. The new planet was far away and it took time to travel there and back. "Will you be okay here alone?" he asked as he packed his clothes. "Of course," Zara said. "I have lots of work to do. The station is safe. And Sarah will check on me." Sarah was their neighbor and friend. She was a scientist who studied plants from different worlds. She lived just down the hall from them. Marcus picked up his travel bag. It was heavy with tools and equipment for his planet work. He kissed Zara goodbye at the door. "I will send you messages every day," he promised. "Be safe," she said. "Come back to me." Zara watched him walk down the hallway until he disappeared around the corner. She felt a little lonely already, but this was normal. Marcus had to travel for his work. It was important work that helped many people. She went back inside their home and looked at the blue flower on her desk. Soon Marcus would bring her a new flower from this trip. She wondered what color it would be. The research station had about 50 people living on it. Most were scientists, engineers, or diplomats, like Zara. They all worked together to study new worlds and help different alien races understand each other. Zara spent her day working on reports and having video calls with government officials from 3 different planets. They were trying to solve a problem about shipping routes. It was not exciting work, but it was important. At lunchtime, she ate with Sarah in the station's dining hall. Other people sat at nearby tables talking about their work. "How is Marcus?" Sarah asked. "I heard he got assigned to the new Kepler system survey." "Yes, he left this morning," Zara said. "He will be gone for 5 days. That man works too hard," Sarah said with a smile. "But I guess that is why he is so good at his job." The Terraforming Council always gives him the important missions. Zara nodded. She was proud of Marcus and his work. He helped make new homes for people across the galaxy, but sometimes she wished he did not have to travel so much. That evening, Zara got a message from Marcus. He had arrived safely at the new planet. He sent her a picture of a strange red sky with 2 small moons. The message made her happy. She went to bed early and dreamed about visiting new worlds with Marcus. In her dream, they walked together through forests of silver trees under purple skies. It was a nice dream. The next few days passed quietly. Zara worked on her reports. She talked with Sarah and other friends on the station. Marcus sent her messages every day with pictures from the new planet. On the 4th day, something felt different. Zara could not explain what it was. The station seemed too quiet. People walked through the hallways faster than usual. Even Sarah seemed nervous at lunch. "Is everything okay?" Zara asked her friend. Sarah looked around the dining hall before answering. "There have been some reports about pirates in nearby systems," she said quietly. "But do not worry. We are safe here. The station has good defenses." Zara nodded, but she felt worried. Pirates were bad people who attacked ships and stole things. Sometimes they hurt people too. She tried not to think about it. That night, Zara could not sleep well. She kept thinking about Marcus traveling alone in space. What if pirates found his ship? She sent him a message asking if he was safe, but he did not answer right away. Maybe he was sleeping or working. The next morning was Marcus's last day on the planet. He would start the trip home that evening. Zara felt excited to see him again. She planned to make his favorite dinner to welcome him back. She was working in her office when the lights suddenly went out. Emergency red lights came on a few seconds later. Then she heard the station's alarm system start making loud warning sounds. A voice came over the communication system. It was Captain Rodriguez, the station commander. "All personnel report to designated safe areas immediately. This is not a drill. Repeat, this is not a drill." Zara's heart started beating fast. Something was very wrong. She grabbed her emergency bag and left her office. Other people were running through the hallways. Everyone looked scared. She met Sarah near the main meeting room where people were gathering. "What is happening?" Zara asked. Sarah's face was white with fear. "I do not know," she said. "But I heard someone say the word pirates on their radio." Zara felt cold fear in her stomach. The pirates had found them, and Marcus was not here to help keep her safe. He was far away on another planet. She touched the communication device on her wrist and tried to send Marcus a message. But nothing happened. The device was not working. All communication with the outside was blocked. The pirates had cut them off from the rest of the galaxy. Now they were alone and in great danger. Zara looked around at all the scared faces and wondered what would happen to them. She wished Marcus was here. He always made her feel safe and protected. But now she had to be brave by herself. She took a deep breath and tried to stay calm. Whatever was coming, she would face it. She had to survive until Marcus could find a way to help them. She just hoped it would not be too late. The safe room was crowded and hot. 30 people sat on the floor or stood against the walls. Children cried softly while their parents tried to comfort them. Everyone whispered to each other with worried voices. Zara sat next to Sarah near the door. Her empathic abilities felt waves of fear and confusion from everyone around her. It made her feel sick and dizzy. She tried to block out the emotions, but there were too many scared people in the small room. Captain Rodriguez stood at the front of the room. His face looked serious and tired. He held a small communication device in his hand, but it was not working either. "Listen, everyone," he said in a loud voice. "We are dealing with a situation. Unknown ships have surrounded the station. They have disabled our communication systems and our main defenses." A woman near the back of the room raised her hand. "Are they pirates?" The captain nodded slowly. "We believe so. They have demanded that we surrender the station. If we do not resist, they say no one will be hurt." "What do they want?" asked Dr. Kim, an older scientist who studied alien languages. "Information about our research, access to our computers, and they want the Galactic Council to pay money for our safe return." Zara felt her heart sink. The pirates wanted to hold them all as prisoners until someone paid to free them. This could take weeks or months. Many bad things could happen in that time. "How did they find us?" Sarah whispered to Zara. "This station's location is supposed to be secret." Zara wondered the same thing. The research station was hidden in empty space between star systems. Only government officials and the people who worked here knew where it was. Someone must have told the pirates where to find them. Captain Rodriguez continued talking. The pirates have boarded the station. They are moving through the levels now, taking control of important areas. We must stay here until they find us. When they do, we will cooperate with their demands. I do not want anyone to try to be a hero. These people are dangerous. The room became very quiet. Even the children stopped crying. Everyone understood how serious this was. They had to wait and hope the pirates would not hurt them. Zara closed her eyes and tried to reach out with her empathic abilities. She wanted to sense what the pirates were feeling. Maybe that would help her understand what they planned to do. She felt anger and greed from somewhere above them. The emotions were strong and violent. These were not normal criminals who just wanted to steal things. These pirates enjoyed causing fear and pain. Sarah, Zara whispered, I can feel them. They are not just here for money. They like hurting people. Sarah looked at her with wide eyes. Are you sure? Before Zara could answer, they heard loud footsteps in the hallway outside. Heavy boots walked back and forth. Then someone banged on the safe room door with something metal. Open up, shouted a rough voice. We know you are in there. Captain Rodriguez walked to the door. He took a deep breath and pressed the button to unlock it. The door slid open with a soft sound. 3 pirates walked into the room. They wore black armor and carried energy weapons. Their faces were covered with masks, but Zara could see their eyes. They looked mean and cruel. The leader was tall with scars on his arms. He looked around the room at all the scared people and smiled in a way that made Zara feel cold. Well, he said. Look at all these smart people. Scientists and diplomats and engineers. You all think you are so important, nobody answered him. The room stayed completely quiet. My name is Captain Vex, the pirate continued. This is my station now. You will all do exactly what I tell you to do. If you cooperate, maybe you will live to see your families again. He walked over to Captain Rodriguez. You are the leader here? Yes, Rodriguez answered. I am Captain Rodriguez, station commander. Good. You will help me access your computer systems. I want all your research data about new planets. That information is worth a lot of money to the right people. Zara felt sick. The pirates wanted to steal the information about new worlds that could become homes for people. They would probably sell it to bad governments or criminal organizations. Captain Vex continued walking around the room. He stopped in front of Zara and stared down at her. What about you, pretty alien girl? What do you do here? I am a diplomat, Zara said quietly. Her voice shook a little, but she tried to sound brave. A diplomat, Vex repeated. He laughed in a mean way. That means you talk to important people. Good. You can help me contact the Galactic Council. Tell them we want 50 million credits for everyone's safe return. Zara nodded but did not speak. She used her empathic abilities to sense what the pirate captain was really feeling. Under his cruel smile, she felt something else. Excitement. He was planning something worse than just holding them for money. The other 2 pirates started dividing people into groups. They separated the scientists from the engineers and the support staff. Families were split apart. Children cried as they were taken away from their parents. Do not worry, Captain Vex said with his fake smile. This is just to keep everyone organized. You will see each other again soon. But Zara could feel his real emotions. He was lying. This was not about organization. He was planning to use some people as examples to scare the others. Dr. Kim was pulled into a separate group with the other senior scientists. His face was pale with fear. Please, he said to the pirates, do not hurt the children. Take me instead. Captain Vex walked over to the old scientist. How noble, he said. But I will decide who gets hurt and when. You just need to worry about giving me the information I want. The pirates spent the next hour moving people around the station. Zara and Sarah were taken to a storage room on level 3 with about 10 other people. The room was small and had no windows. One pirate guard stood outside the locked door. This is terrible, Sarah whispered. How long do you think they will keep us here? I do not know, Zara answered. She was worried about more than just being held prisoner. Her empathic abilities kept picking up violent emotions from the pirates. They were planning something bad. Hours passed slowly. The pirates brought them water and some food, but not much. The storage room became very hot with so many people inside. Everyone sat on the floor and tried to rest. Zara could not stop thinking about Marcus. He should be starting his trip back to the station soon. But the pirates had blocked all communications. He would not know about the attack until he arrived. What would happen when Marcus came back? The pirates would probably capture his ship too. Then he would be trapped here with the rest of them, unless Marcus could somehow help them escape first. But what could one person do against a whole group of armed pirates? Marcus was an engineer, not a soldier. He was gentle and kind. He would probably try to negotiate with the pirates instead of fighting them. Late in the evening, they heard shouting from somewhere else on the station. Then there were loud banging sounds like doors being broken down. Some of the women in the storage room started crying quietly. "They are searching the station," Sarah whispered. "Looking for people who might be hiding," Zara nodded. She could feel the pirates' emotions getting stronger and more violent. They were enjoying the fear they were causing. This was like a game to them. The guard outside their door started talking on his radio. Zara could hear some of his words through the thin wall. "Yes, Captain. Level 5 is clear. No one hiding there either." "Good," came Captain Vex's voice through the radio. "What about the communication array? Is it completely disabled?" "Yes, sir. No signals getting in or out. If anyone comes looking for this place, they will not find it." Zara felt her heart sink even lower. Even if Marcus tried to contact the station, he would not be able to reach them. He might think their communication system was just broken. He would not know they were in danger until it was too late. She closed her eyes and tried to send her thoughts out into space. She knew it was impossible, but she hoped somehow Marcus would sense that something was wrong. Maybe he would be careful when he approached the station. The next morning brought more bad news. Captain Vex came to visit their storage room with 2 of his pirates. "I hope everyone slept well," he said with his cruel smile. "Today we start making our demands to the Galactic Council. But first we need to show them we are serious." He looked around the room at all the scared faces. "I need to pick someone to send a special message. Someone important enough that the council will pay attention." His eyes stopped on Zara. "You, diplomat girl, you will help me record a message to your government friends. Tell them what will happen if they do not pay us." Zara stood up on shaking legs. She did not want to help the pirates, but she had no choice. If she refused, they might hurt other people. "What do you want me to say?" she asked. "Tell them they have 3 days to transfer 50 million credits to our account. If they refuse, we will start executing prisoners." Starting with the children, the room became completely silent. Even the pirates looked uncomfortable with this threat, but Captain Vex just smiled wider. "Do not look so shocked," he said. "This is business. The council needs to understand the cost of making us wait." Zara felt sick to her stomach. These pirates were not just criminals. They were monsters who would hurt innocent people for money. And there was nothing she could do to stop them. As they took her away to record the message, she looked back at Sarah and the others. Their faces were full of fear and despair. They all knew that help was not coming soon enough. Somewhere in space, Marcus was traveling home to what he thought was safety. But Marcus sat in his small ship looking at the dark screens in front of him. All his communication equipment was dead. He could not contact the research station or send messages to Zara. This was very strange. The station's communication array was new and powerful. It should not just stop working. He was still 2 hours away from the station, but something felt wrong. In his years of traveling through space, Marcus had learned to trust his instincts. Right now, those instincts were telling him to be very careful. Marcus changed his ship's course slightly. Instead of flying directly to the station's main docking bay, he would approach from the dark side where the shadows were thick. If there was danger at the station, he did not want to fly right into it. As he got closer, Marcus turned off his ship's identification signals. This would make his ship harder to detect on sensors. He also powered down all non-essential systems. His ship became almost invisible in the darkness of space. Through his front window, Marcus could see the research station floating in the distance. But something was wrong with the picture. There were other ships around the station, ships that should not be there. Marcus counted 5 unknown vessels surrounding the station. They were painted black and had no identification markings. Their design looked military, but not from any government Marcus recognized. These were pirate ships. His blood ran cold. Pirates had taken control of the station. Zara and all their friends were in terrible danger. He wanted to rush in immediately to help them, but he forced himself to think clearly. 1 person against 5 ships full of armed pirates would not help anyone. Marcus studied the enemy ships through his scope. Most of them looked like they were just holding position around the station. But one ship was docked directly to the station's main airlock. That must be how the pirates had boarded. He needed to get onto the station without being detected. But how? All the normal docking ports would be watched by the pirates. Then Marcus remembered something. During construction of the station, emergency maintenance ports had been built into the outer hull. They were small and hidden, designed for repair work on the station's systems. Most people forgot they existed. Marcus knew about them because he had helped design some of the station's life support systems. If he could reach one of those ports, he might be able to get inside without anyone seeing him. He programmed his ship to drift slowly toward the station's dark side. He kept all engines off and let gravity pull him forward. To any sensors watching, his ship would look like a piece of space debris. It took 40 minutes to reach the station. Marcus held his breath as his ship passed close to one of the pirate vessels. He was so close he could see lights through their windows. But they did not notice his small, dark ship floating by. Marcus found the maintenance port he was looking for on the station's lower level. It was hidden behind a cluster of communication dishes. He carefully guided his ship to dock with the port. The connection was rough, but it held. Before leaving his ship, Marcus gathered equipment he might need. He took his emergency toolkit and a small welding torch. He also grabbed a portable air supply and his emergency rations. He did not know how long this would take. Marcus opened the maintenance port and crawled into the station. The maintenance tunnel was narrow and dark. He had to crawl on his hands and knees to move through it, but at least he was inside. The tunnel led to a service area behind the station's main power systems. Marcus knew this area well from his work on the life support equipment. He could access most of the station from here through maintenance passages that ran between the walls. First, he needed to find out what was happening to the prisoners. Marcus made his way to a computer terminal in the service area. The station's internal sensors were still working. He could see where people were being held. Most of the prisoners were locked in storage rooms on levels 3 and 4. Marcus felt relieved when he saw that Zara was in a group on level 3. She was alive and appeared to be unharmed. But the sensor data also showed him how many pirates were on the station. At least 20 armed enemies were moving through the corridors and standing guard. They had weapons and armor. Marcus had only his tools and his knowledge of the station. Marcus studied the pirate patrol patterns on the sensors. They moved in groups of 2 or 3, checking different areas of the station every hour. But they did not know about the maintenance tunnels. Those passages were his advantage. He needed to even the odds somehow. 20 armed pirates were too many to fight directly, but maybe he could turn the station itself into a weapon. Marcus made his way through the maintenance tunnels to the station's environmental control center. This was where all the air, water, and power systems were managed. From here, he could control almost everything on the station. First, Marcus disabled the artificial gravity in the sections where the pirates were staying. Suddenly, half the pirates found themselves floating helplessly in the air. They bumped into walls and each other, unable to move properly in zero gravity. Next, he turned off the lights in those same sections. Now the pirates were floating in complete darkness. He could hear them shouting and cursing through the station's communication system. But Marcus was not done. He opened the atmospheric vents in the corridors where the pirates were floating. This created strong air currents that pushed them around even more. The pirates could not control their movement or see where they were going. Some of the pirates tried to use their weapon lights to see, but the moving air made them spin and tumble. They could not aim at anything. Marcus watched the chaos on his sensors and felt grimly satisfied. But he knew this would not stop them for long. The pirates would figure out how to deal with the zero gravity and find emergency lights. He had maybe 30 minutes before they regained control. Time to start hunting. Marcus took his welding torch and moved through the maintenance tunnels toward the nearest group of confused pirates. He could hear them talking on their radios, trying to coordinate with each other. "Command, this is Team 2. Something is wrong with the station systems. We are floating around like fish in a bowl." "Same here," came another voice. "It is like someone is messing with the environmental controls." Marcus smiled coldly. Someone was indeed messing with their systems, and that someone was just getting started. He reached a maintenance panel near where 2 pirates were floating helplessly in a dark corridor. Marcus opened the panel quietly and reached inside. He found the power cables for their section of the station. With his welding torch, Marcus carefully cut through several cables. Sparks flew in the darkness. The emergency power systems shut down completely in that corridor. Now those pirates had no light at all and no way to call for help. Marcus moved to the next group of pirates. These ones had managed to grab onto the walls and were trying to pull themselves along the corridor. They had turned on weapon lights and were slowly making progress. From inside the walls, Marcus used his tools to open a water pipe. High-pressure water sprayed into the corridor, hitting the pirates and pushing them back toward the far end. They shouted in anger and confusion as the cold water soaked them. One pirate tried to shoot at the water pipe, but he could not aim properly while floating and being pushed by the water spray. His energy blast hit the ceiling, causing more damage to the station's systems. "Stop shooting, you idiot," yelled the other pirate. "You will blow a hole in the hull." Marcus moved on to the next group. These pirates had found a room with emergency gravity controls and managed to restore normal gravity to their area. They were standing on the floor again and trying to restore power to the lights. This group was more dangerous because they could move and fight normally. Marcus would have to be more careful. He made his way to the power junction for their section. Instead of cutting the power completely, Marcus rewired the circuits. When the pirates tried to turn on the lights, the electrical system overloaded. Bright sparks shot out of the light fixtures, forcing the pirates to take cover. "What is happening?" one of them shouted. "Is the whole station falling apart?" "I do not know," answered his partner. "But we need to get back to the command center and report this." They started moving toward the main corridor, but Marcus was ready for them. He had found the station's fire suppression system controls. When the pirates reached the corridor, Marcus activated the foam dispensers. Thick white foam sprayed from nozzles in the ceiling, covering the pirates from head to toe. The foam was designed to put out fires, so it was very hard to see through. The pirates stumbled around blindly, slipping and falling on the slippery surface. Marcus continued his systematic attack on the pirate forces. He used every system on the station as a weapon. He turned on the emergency alarms in some sections to confuse them. He switched the air recycling systems to create strange smells that made them feel sick. He even used the food dispensers to spray hot soup at pirates who walked past them. But the most effective weapon was fear. The pirates had expected to fight people, not to be attacked by the station itself. They did not understand what was happening or how to fight back. Marcus listened to their radio communications as their confidence crumbled. "Command, we have lost contact with teams 3 and 5. Marcus studied the command room through the maintenance panel. 8 pirates remained, all armed and ready for a fight. Captain Vex stood in the center, his face twisted with anger and fear. The pirate leader was shouting orders, but his men looked nervous and confused. "Spread out, watch every corner. Whatever is hunting us has to show itself eventually." Marcus reached into his tool bag and pulled out several items. A plasma cutter, normally used for repairs, a handful of metal bolts, and a small mirror from his emergency kit. Time to end this quickly and efficiently. He positioned the plasma cutter against a support beam behind the wall. The beam held up part of the ceiling in the command room. When Marcus cut through it, a section of the ceiling would collapse, creating chaos and confusion. Marcus activated the plasma cutter. The tool made a soft humming sound as it sliced through the metal beam. He worked quickly but carefully. Too much damage and the whole ceiling might come down. Too little, and the pirates would have time to react. The beam snapped with a loud crack. A large section of ceiling tiles crashed down into the command room. 2 pirates were knocked down by falling debris. The others spun around, pointing their weapons at the ceiling. "Up there!" one pirate shouted. "The attack is coming from above." While they were distracted, Marcus moved to a different position. He used his mirror to see around a corner in the maintenance space. 2 pirates were standing near the main computer console, their backs to the wall where Marcus was hiding. Marcus pushed his plasma cutter through a small gap in the wall. The tool's cutting beam shot out and sliced through both pirates' weapon belts. Their guns clattered to the floor. Before they could grab the weapons, Marcus used the cutter to weld their belt buckles to the metal wall behind them. They were trapped. "Help!" one of them yelled. "We are stuck." Captain Vex spun around to see what was happening. "What do you mean stuck?" Marcus was already moving to his next position. He crawled through the narrow maintenance tunnel to a spot behind the emergency power controls. From here, he could see 3 more pirates standing guard near the door. Marcus quietly opened a wall panel behind them. He reached out and grabbed the ankle of the nearest pirate. The man screamed in surprise as Marcus pulled his leg into the wall opening. The pirate fell backward, his weapon flying across the room. The other two pirates turned to help their friend, but Marcus was ready. He pushed his welding torch through another wall opening and sprayed hot metal sparks at them. They jumped back, slapping at their burning clothes. Now only Captain Vex and one other pirate remained standing. They stood back to back in the center of the room, weapons pointing in all directions. "Show yourself!" Vex screamed. "Stop hiding like a coward and fight!" Marcus decided it was time to introduce himself properly. He kicked open a maintenance access door and stepped into the command room. The two remaining pirates immediately pointed their weapons at him. Marcus looked nothing like the gentle engineer Zara had married. His clothes were torn and dirty from crawling through the maintenance tunnels. His hands were black with grease and burned from the welding torch. His eyes were cold and focused. "Hello," Marcus said in a calm voice. "I believe you have something that belongs to me." Captain Vex stared at him in disbelief. "You? One man did all this? Impossible." "Not impossible," Marcus replied. "Marcus, just efficient." The remaining pirate next to Vex raised his weapon to shoot. Marcus moved faster than seemed possible for a human. He threw one of his metal bolts with perfect accuracy. The bolt hit the pirate's weapon and knocked it from his hands. Before the man could react, Marcus was across the room. He grabbed the pirate by the front of his armor and threw him against the wall. The man hit hard and slumped to the floor, unconscious. Captain Vex was alone now. He still had his weapon, but his hands were shaking. He had never seen a human move that fast or fight with such deadly skill. "What are you?" Vex whispered. Marcus looked at him with those cold, focused eyes. "I am someone whose wife you threatened. That was a mistake." Vex tried to raise his weapon, but Marcus was already moving. He crossed the distance between them in 2 quick steps. His hand closed around Vex's wrist and squeezed. The pirate screamed as his bones cracked. The weapon fell from his broken hand. Marcus picked up the fallen weapon and pointed it at Vex. "Where are the prisoners?" "Level 3 and 4, Vex gasped, holding his injured hand. "Storage rooms. They are not hurt. We did not touch them." "Good," Marcus said. "Because if you had hurt my wife, I would have done much worse things to you." Marcus used the pirate's own restraints to tie up all the surviving enemies. Then he made his way to level 3 to find Zara. His heart was beating fast, but not from the fighting. He was nervous about seeing her again. How would Zara react when she learned what he really was? She had married a gentle engineer who brought her flowers and cooked dinner. She had never seen this side of him, the side that could hunt down 20 armed pirates and defeat them using nothing but tools and knowledge. Marcus reached the storage room where Zara was being held. He could hear voices inside, people talking quietly, trying to comfort each other. He opened the lock with his tools and pulled the door open. "Everyone out," he said. "You are safe now." The prisoners looked at him with surprise and confusion. They did not recognize this dirty, dangerous-looking man. Sarah was the first to speak. "Marcus, is that really you?" "It is me," he said. Then he saw Zara near the back of the group. She was staring at him with wide eyes. Her empathic abilities were reading his emotional state, and what she sensed frightened her. This was not the gentle, peaceful mind she had known for 3 years. This mind was hard and cold, like a weapon that had been used for its intended purpose. "Zara," Marcus said softly. He wanted to go to her, to hold her, and tell her everything was okay. But he could see the fear in her eyes. She was afraid of him. "What did you do to the pirates?" she asked in a quiet voice. Marcus hesitated. How could he explain? "I stopped them. They will not hurt anyone anymore." "But how? There were so many of them, and you were alone." Marcus looked around at all the rescued prisoners watching him. They were waiting for an answer too. The truth would come out eventually. Better to tell them now. "I used the station's systems against them," he said. "I know this place better than they did, and I have training for situations like this." "What kind of training?" Zara asked. Marcus took a deep breath. "Military training. Special operations. Before I became an engineer, I was a soldier." The group of prisoners became very quiet. They looked at Marcus with new understanding. This explained how one man had defeated 20 armed pirates. But Zara looked hurt and confused. "You never told me," she said. "In 3 years of marriage, you never mentioned that you were a soldier." "Former soldier," Marcus corrected. "I left that life behind when I met you. I wanted to be someone better. Someone peaceful." "But you lied to me," Zara said. Her voice was getting louder. "You made me think you were just a gentle engineer. I never sensed any violence in you with my empathic abilities. How is that possible?" Marcus felt his heart breaking. This was what he had always feared. That someday Zara would learn the truth and be disgusted by what he really was. "I learned to control my emotions," he said quietly. "To hide the parts of myself that I did not want you to see. I wanted to be the man you deserved, not the weapon I used to be." Zara stared at him for a long moment. Her empathic senses were reading him now without any barriers. She could feel the years of violence and death that marked his past. But she could also feel something else. The genuine love he had for her. The desperate hope that she would not reject him. "We need to get everyone to safety first," Marcus said, breaking the uncomfortable silence. "The pirate ships are still outside. We need to contact the authorities and get medical help for the injured." Sarah stepped forward. "The communication array is damaged. The pirates disabled it when they took control." "I can fix it," Marcus said. "Give me an hour." As Marcus worked to repair the communications, the rescued prisoners talked quietly among themselves. Word spread quickly about what he had done, how he had systematically hunted down the pirates using only his knowledge and tools. Some people looked at him with respect and gratitude. Others seemed nervous and afraid. They had never seen a human fight with such deadly efficiency. But it was Zara's reaction that mattered most to Marcus. She sat by herself in a corner, not talking to anyone. Her face showed the confusion and hurt she was feeling. When the communication array was working again, Marcus sent emergency signals to the nearest military base. Within hours, government ships arrived to arrest the surviving pirates and provide medical care for the prisoners. During the debriefing with the military investigators, more details came out about Marcus's past. He had been part of an elite human military unit called the Colonial Rangers. They specialized in protecting human settlements on dangerous frontier worlds. Marcus had seen combat on 17 different planets. He had fought against alien raiders, criminal organizations, and rebel groups. His unit's mission was to go where regular military forces could not operate and solve problems that diplomacy could not fix. But 5 years ago, Marcus had requested discharge from military service. He wanted to leave the fighting behind and use his engineering skills to help build new worlds instead of destroying old ones. 3 weeks had passed since the pirate attack. The research station was back to normal operations, but things between Zara and Marcus were still difficult. They shared the same quarters but barely spoke to each other. Marcus tried to be patient, but the silence was painful. Zara spent her days working and thinking. She could not stop seeing the images from the security recordings. Marcus moving through the station like a hunter, systematically defeating the pirates. The cold, focused look in his eyes. The way he moved with deadly purpose. It was so different from the gentle man who made her breakfast every morning and asked about her day. How could both versions exist in the same person? One evening, Sarah came to visit Zara in their quarters. She brought tea and sat down across from her friend. "You cannot keep avoiding him forever," Sarah said gently. "He saved all our lives. Does that not count for something?" Zara sighed. "I know he saved us. I am grateful for that. But he lied to me for 3 years, Sarah. He made me believe he was someone completely different." "Did he lie, though?" Sarah asked. "Or did he just not tell you about his past?" "There is a difference. He hid his true nature from me," Zara said. "He used some kind of mental control to block my empathic abilities. I never sensed the violence in him." Sarah was quiet for a moment. "Zara, I need to tell you something." "I knew." Zara looked up in surprise. "What do you mean?" "I suspected Marcus had military training. The way he moved, the way he observed his surroundings, small things that most people would not notice. But I could tell he had been trained for combat." "Why did you not tell me?" "Because it was not my secret to tell," Sarah said. And because I could see how much he loved you. Whatever Marcus used to be, he was trying to be better for you. That night, Zara could not sleep. She kept thinking about what Sarah had said. Maybe Marcus had not been lying exactly. Maybe he had been trying to protect her from a part of himself that he was ashamed of. The next day, Zara decided to learn more about Marcus's past. She used her diplomatic access codes to research the Colonial Rangers military unit. What she found surprised her. The Colonial Rangers were not just soldiers. They were protectors. Their mission was to defend human settlements on dangerous frontier worlds where regular military forces could not operate effectively. They fought against raiders, criminals, and other threats to innocent people. Zara read about some of the missions Marcus's unit had completed. They had rescued hostages from alien terrorists. They had stopped criminal organizations from enslaving human colonists. They had protected peaceful settlements from violent raiders. According to the records, Marcus had received multiple commendations for bravery and for protecting civilian lives. He had never been disciplined for excessive violence or misconduct. His service record showed a soldier who used violence only when necessary to protect others. But Zara also found the medical records. Marcus had been treated for combat stress and recurring nightmares. The doctors noted that he felt guilty about the people he had killed, even when they were criminals who threatened innocent lives. That was why he had left the military. Not because he was tired of fighting, but because the violence was hurting his soul. He wanted to build things instead of destroying them. Zara realized she needed to talk to Marcus directly. She found him in his workshop, working on repairs to the station's environmental systems. He looked tired and sad. "Marcus," she said softly, "we need to talk." He looked up from his work. "Are you ready to listen? Or do you just want to ask me to leave?" "I want to understand," Zara said. "I have been researching the Colonial Rangers. I learned about your missions and your service record." Marcus set down his tools. "What do you want to know?" "Tell me about the violence," Zara said. "Help me understand how you can be both gentle and deadly." Marcus was quiet for a long moment. Then he began to speak. "When I was young, I thought fighting was exciting. I wanted to be a hero and protect people. The military trained me to be very good at violence. But they also taught me when to use it and when not to." He looked at his hands. "I learned that violence is a tool. Like any tool, it can be used to build or to destroy. The key is knowing when each is appropriate." "But how do you turn it on and off?" Zara asked. "How do you go from being a killer to being my gentle husband?" "The same way you turn your empathic abilities on and off," Marcus said. "You choose when to use them and when to keep them controlled. My training taught me to control the violent part of myself, to only let it out when innocent people needed protection." Zara thought about this. She did control her empathic abilities. In crowded places, she had to block out other people's emotions or they would overwhelm her. It was a conscious choice she made every day. "When the pirates attacked," Marcus continued, "I had to choose. I could stay away and let them hurt you and everyone else, or I could use my training to stop them. It was not a difficult choice." "But you enjoyed it," Zara said. "I could sense that when you came back. Part of you liked the hunting and the fighting." Marcus nodded slowly. "Yes, that is the part of myself I am most ashamed of. The part that finds satisfaction in being good at violence. But liking something and choosing to do it are different things." "I do not understand," Marcus thought for a moment. "You are good at diplomacy. You probably enjoy solving difficult negotiations and bringing peace between different groups. Does that mean you seek out conflicts just so you can resolve them?" "No, of course not. It is the same for me. I am good at combat and part of me enjoys the challenge of it. But I do not seek out violence. I only use those skills when there is no other choice." Zara began to understand. Marcus was not two different people. He was one person with different abilities and different aspects to his personality. The gentleness was real, but so was the capacity for violence when it was needed. "Show me," Zara said suddenly. "Show you what?" "Show me how you control it. How you choose which part of yourself to be." Marcus looked uncertain. "I do not think that is a good idea." "Please," Zara said. "I need to see it. I need to understand how my husband can contain both peace and war inside himself." Marcus stood up slowly. "Close your eyes and use your empathic abilities. Tell me what you sense for me right now." Zara closed her eyes and reached out with her empathic senses. She felt Marcus's usual emotional state. Love for her, contentment from his work, a little sadness about their relationship problems. The familiar gentle presence she had known for 3 years. Now watch, Marcus said quietly. Zara felt the change immediately. It was like watching someone put on armor. Marcus's emotional presence became harder, more focused. The gentleness was still there, but it was covered by something else. Something watchful and dangerous. But the most important thing Zara noticed was that Marcus was still in control. This was not a berserker rage or mindless violence. It was a conscious transformation, like a doctor putting on surgical gloves before an operation. The violence is a tool, Marcus said, and his voice sounded different now, colder and more precise. I can take it out when needed and put it away when the job is done. Then Zara felt him change back. The hardness faded away, replaced by the gentle warmth she knew so well. Marcus was himself again, you see, he said in his normal voice. Both parts are me, but I choose which one to be based on what the situation requires. Zara opened her eyes and looked at him. That must be exhausting, keeping such tight control all the time. Sometimes, Marcus admitted, but it is worth it to be the man you deserve. Maybe I've been thinking about this wrong, Zara said slowly. I was afraid that the violent part of you was the real you, and the gentle part was fake. But they are both real, are they not? Marcus nodded. The gentle part is not an act, Zara. That is who I choose to be most of the time. The violence only comes out when people I care about are in danger. Zara thought about her own abilities. She could sense emotions and influence people's feelings. That power could be used to hurt people or to help them. She chose to use it for diplomacy and peace, but the potential for manipulation was always there. I think I understand now, she said. We all have different parts of ourselves. The important thing is which parts we choose to act on. Does this mean you can forgive me? Marcus asked hopefully. Zara looked at him for a long moment. There is nothing to forgive. You saved my life and the lives of 30 other people. You used your abilities to protect innocent people from criminals. That is exactly what those abilities should be used for. Marcus felt relief wash over him. So we can go back to the way things were? Not exactly, Zara said. I do not want you to hide parts of yourself from me anymore. If we are going to be married, I need to know all of who you are. The engineer and the warrior. Are you sure? The warrior is not very pleasant. Maybe not, Zara said, but he is part of the man I love. And he is the part that keeps me safe when diplomacy is not enough. That evening they had dinner together for the first time in weeks. Marcus told Zara more stories about his military service. Not just the violent parts, but also the times when his unit had helped people and protected the innocent. There was a colony on Kepler 7, Marcus said. Raiders were attacking the farms and stealing food. The local government asked for our help. What did you do? We tracked the raiders to their base in the mountains. But instead of attacking them directly,